Another characteristic of new media is its spreadability. That refers to the ease and speed with which a message can go beyond its original intended audience. Some messages pass slowly from one person to another as friends who trust one another, share a secret, and promise to keep it confidential. But, then other messages spread really fast. Gossip can go roaring through an office and even through a church. But gossip will not move as fast by word of mouth through a church as it can move through new media. All of a sudden, whenever you add that new media factor, a scandal can spread around the world in an instant, and a YouTube video can receive nationwide attention in a matter of days. And even the people who originate the topic, even the people who made the post may have already lost interest in it, but the topic will persist. It's spreadable. It gets distributed. It gathers momentum. It spreads into other people's lives, and eventually it goes viral. That's an important aspect of new media. It is the gift that keeps on giving, sometimes far beyond when you wanted it to give. And there's just no way to erase it. There's no way to get it back. It's the shot that's been heard around the world, and you can't unring that bell. Another characteristic of new media is its searchability. That is the amount of effort that it takes for a person to find the information. And that's really the key to this whole thing, because something you said 5 years ago or 10 years ago in the office, among friends, may never, ever, ever be accessed by anybody else. But something you said on Twitter or Facebook while you were in high school may still be accessed by someone else today. It's searchable. It can be searched out. It can be found, and people can use a search engine to find out information on you. They can use a search engine to find out things about where you live and what your credit score is and what your reputation is. They can go look at your Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and whatever other social media accounts you have, and they can find those things, and they can judge you on the basis of them. Listen, employers are doing this. I was in a seminar not very long ago and sat with a group of high-profile people who do hiring, and every one of them said, I always review social media. I always look at social media. Before I ever interview anybody, I look at social media. And so it's important. Your obscure comments that you didn't even think anything about can come back, and they can be easily discovered with little difficulty because new media is searchable. Now, personal media are changing how we experience certain dimensions. It's changing the way we experience space. We occupy both a physical space and a virtual space, and sometimes we do that simultaneously. I am can sit at my desk here in my office and be in contact with the whole world. Yet I can sit at dinner with my spouse and isolate myself in my virtual space. I have the ability to navigate between those two spaces, and there is no limit. I can be in my virtual space anywhere. And inhabiting two spaces at the same time can be dangerous. I've been guilty of texting while walking. I have walked right into signposts before, and I even stop and say, excuse me, like it was a person, because I'm busy texting. It's a dangerous thing. It's even more dangerous to text while you're driving. Trying to occupy both a physical space and a virtual space at the same time can lead to severe complications. Another thing that personal media affects is the way that we experience time. We live in an always on, instantly accessible world. And one of the side effects is that communicators today lack patience. We want everything right now. When it comes to communication, we want instant gratification. And I try my hardest as a communicator to, when I receive a text, to at least, even if I don't have time for the lengthy response, to send a quick response to say, hey, I got this. And I feel like that's good communication. And I try when I get an email to send some kind of quick, brief response and say, sounds good to me, or I'll look at this and get back with you. But something that says, I got it, because that's what people expect today. Communication used to take, it could take weeks, it could take months. It was not instant, but now it is. And people expect an instant reply. That's how we interface with time, and new media has changed that. Another important change that new media has thrust upon us is the way we think. And this is really an important dimension that isn't often considered. There is what they call a shallowing effect, where the depth of thought is affected by the way we use new media. When we go online, we enter into an environment that promotes cursory reading, hurried and distracted thinking, and superficial learning. There's no real depth to it. We can Google anything. We can find out what we need in just an instant. We don't have to find out the why and the wherefore and the how and all the deeper meaning and all the deeper thought processes. We can find somebody who will give us the answer. And so we can get information more quickly than we could ever access it before, but we don't stay with it very long. We get the information and we move on to the next thing. It's all transitory. It's all temporary. It's all fleeting. We don't read long, lengthy. I don't know about you. I listen to podcasts and every now and then I read blogs, but I hate to click into a blog that is huge, long, and lengthy. I don't have time for that business. Give it to me in short sound bites. Give it to me in a smaller portion. Help me be able to digest that media. So that creates a thought process that is not necessarily good, a way of thinking. We don't delve very deeply into things the way that perhaps we could and should. And so we tend to get shallow in our thinking. This is a developing line of research. It's an important line of research. It's something that we would all do well to consider. How we use media rewires our brain. How we use media rewires the way we think, and it's not all good. All right, so let's talk about some benefits of personal media. Personal media increases sociability. It's a funny thing. Whenever I was younger and all of this new media was just beginning to take hold, one of the things that everybody warned about was it's going to destroy the social structure of the community, the family. We will become less social creatures, and so that was something that everybody was talking about and everybody was prepared for. But the truth is that new media has become fundamentally social. It was envisioned by its creators as a file sharing system, but it has become a way that we share our lives. It's become a way that we share who we are and we interact. And this past week at General Conference, I met people who I have interacted with online for years that we've never, ever, ever stood face to face and talked to each other until this week. It also allows us to build social capital. That's the resources and advantages that occur from participating in social networks. Your social capital is the benefit of being a part of a vast social network. And social capital accrues whenever members of a social network offer each other support or band together to get things done or exchange information about their area of expertise. I'm a part of a couple of different forums that are just preachers only, and some of them we spend quite a bit of time sharing the word. We have evangelists and we have missionaries and we have home missions pastors, all who are part of this forum. And over the length of time that I've been involved in it, we have bought tires for missionaries' RV that was on the side of thousands of dollars. We bought vehicles. We bought vans. More than once, we bought vans for churches. And when I say we've bought, what I mean is somebody let the need be known on the social media network, and pastors stepped up and said, hey, my church will donate $100. My church will donate $1,000. My church will donate. And we raised in a very short amount of time the money. One time, we raised the money to put a missionary back on the field who was near the end of their deputation, just needed so much, and we took care of that. And so that's social capital. That's the benefit of being a part of a social media network. That's the benefit of being networked in with those people.